QuakeCon map pool without Lost World.
I know, I'm so glad it's in the QuakeCon map pool. I absolutely love watching the map, this sort of tactical, just immenseness of it that you can get between players at this high level. And I wonder how well rehearsed are these guys, because especially Rapha, I think, and his team, he's going to need to collect a lot of points in duel at this QuakeCon if he wants to see his team have a chance at being the Tri-Master Tournament champions. So show us how warmed up you are. I am on DaHanG though, at the moment, as we start this off.
As am I, and things are a little bit messy already in the back corridors here, both of them with rockets. DaHanG trying to break out towards the LGYA, which is currently not up just yet. He's going to be making his way back into the middle, but keeping an ear out for Rapha. There's not a whole lot for him to play for at this point. He wants to stack up a little bit on that 100-100, but here comes Rapha immediately, shoving himself right into the corner.
Wow.
We're not seeing any of the subtle play that we're used to from Rapha on Lost World. This is just directly against the wall, and that wall broke Rapha. DaHanG picking up that first frag and actually able to take away a mega health afterwards, and he should be able to take control of the middle at least here.
I think he's going to get quite a lot of that. Rapha kind of put 100% into that. He's going to get knocked off the red. DaHanG didn't even need to fire that much LG to prevent him from getting it, but good extra damage. That was suicidally aggressive. That's not the careful, calculated Rapha you normally see. He's usually the most perfectionist when it comes to position and putting himself in a way that he can win the fight.
Theories that we could have about that. Either we're seeing Rapha maybe experimenting with a few different stratagems, or he's just, not playing the cards he will be playing at QuakeCon, because, why would he do that?
Yeah, that's true, that's true. And, Rapha's the kind of guy who's very protective of strategies before QuakeCon. He takes it very seriously. A lot of the Europeans have been streaming a lot, all of their practices, and that's definitely something Rapha would never want to do.
But we've got DaHanG right now, 1 frag up and 160, 180 for him. He's keeping an ear out for Rapha over by the 50. He's able to take away 1 YA at least here. And Rapha's actually just kind of camping it out there down below in the Mega Room. Another kind of weird position for him to be. And DaHanG is on the chase. He's able to get that frag, but he burned off all of his armor in the meantime. Fortunately for him, RA is back up, but he's going to be scouting out for a quick and easy frag, or at least a little bit of damage on this yellow armor first.
I like how DaHanG's not letting these frags go. Even though Rapha's trying to run away and there's a chance he can get a shotgun blast to the face, DaHanG's making sure he gets the extra point up. He knows when the next items are going to be up as well, and he's able to somewhat perpetuate that control. Only 100-100, it's not the same as before, but he's still looking like he can get the next frag.
Both of these frags DaHanG had to chase for a little bit, but Rapha gave him both of those opportunities. Hopefully we'll be able to see Rapha set up those, sort of bait and switches here in a little bit, but DaHanG's got sight of him over by the 50. It's really up to Rapha right now to define where this fight begins and ends. DaHanG's able to steal away a yellow armor though. And red's going to be up. This is an opportunity for Rapha to move in, but no real sight of him over there. We actually see him down by the jump pad. A little bit of a strange spot for him to be at the moment. DaHanG actually putting a lot of pressure on him here over by the LG. But he can't commit too much at this point.
It's actually some pretty good spam rocket work from Rapha, and that yellow's not up for a couple of seconds. This would be a really good time for a little bit more pressure. But after Rapha's like, okay, I hit a couple of rockets, let's get the mega, and maybe even a red as well. And I think the game may have just turned tables.
Yeah, DaHanG caught a couple bad rockets as he tried to put pressure on Rapha over by the LG, and necessarily he kind of had to give up his middle map position. We'll see how quickly he can move back into that. He's going to have to give up this wide. There's a big fight over it. DaHanG's going to be a little bit on his back leg here. He's got a few 25s to take, but now he's going to be stuck in this corner. If Rapha can keep him here a few more seconds, he could utterly deny him going for that red armor, but DaHanG with 46 health left has to make a decision.
DaHanG's rockets are awesome at the moment. I mean, he's really landing some important shots that have kept him alive and prevented Rapha from continuing his chase. Please bring more of that at QuakeCon. Rapha going for an aggressive jump up, going for an LG kill at the moment, and DaHanG was not ready for that level of aggression. 1 point now to Rapha.
And exactly, we just saw DaHanG, take a few bad rockets and never really able to recover, never be able to recover. Rapha right now taking a lot of that LG actually. He's just lost all of the stack that he previously had. But what's DaHanG gonna be able to do with that? Oh my god, with LG like that and 3 health left, Rapha is just tying it back up 2-2. He should be able to take away this upper wide. This is going to cost him a few seconds. This could cost him actual position on the red armor. This is tricky. DaHanG's got a really good choke point on that door.
That was
backpedaling. And this LG, as we've already seen, is so dangerous. Rapha is able to take away that 50. He should be able to put at least pressure on the red armor as DaHanG gets away with it.
These guys are playing a really smart game at the moment. When Rapha got that tying frag, he realized he's on such low health, he knew the items were up. He did not even hesitate for a second about thinking to go over there. He just immediately went into the weaker side of the map and got himself health bubbles. And then DaHanG, reading that Rapha wouldn't go back into the center map, and cut him off at the top area by rocket jumping out. I think we're seeing some great plays right now.
Yeah, and, you know, granted on Rapha's end, if you have an opportunity to take away a relatively safe yellow, you know, it might be worth its own weight there, but Rapha right now looking once again to set up that trap. He's going quiet here, he's got plenty of armor to do it with, and we actually see DaHanG down by the plasma gun. He's going to get away, however, but Rapha's now taken full control of the upper portion of the map.
That's a sketchy position. If a European was to come in that side, I don't feel...
You don't want to play that card, do you?
I'm sorry, but I feel like Rapha, if he were Tox, for example, would just LG DaHanG there, and DaHanG would not be able to get back down that bounce pad. I think that's not where you'd like to be standing if you're playing Evil or Tox or Cypher necessarily. Rapha could have been far more punishing there.
Well, this is a potential critical moment here. We've seen Rapha take away that red, and DaHanG is actually nowhere near that Mega. I was actually expecting him to be able to put a little bit of pressure on it, but here he is back out in the middle. Not really sure this is a fight he wants to take. He can certainly burn off a lot of Rapha's stack, but he's kind of out of options at this point. Yeah.
Nice little switch from Rapha.
He's forced Rapha into recovery mode, at least here. And the timing isn't too advantageous for him, so DaHanG might be able to put some pressure on this red. He's taken it, and he's taken a few rockets out of the teleporter, so things are a little bit more even ground, but Rapha still able to determine the pacing of the match at the point.
Oh, he's managed to find him with some rockets as well. DaHanG can't back off onto the Mega. We've now got a 2-frag lead for Rapha. And this is definitely looking a lot better. When we saw the beginning, I was like, oh, this is a shaky start for Rapha. But he's playing a lot better, and DaHanG seems to have just lost his mind a little bit, and there's no way he should be standing in front of the Mega or making himself so vulnerable to rockets from center map.
And yeah, looking at the routes through the map that Rapha is choosing, I don't blame him at all for kind of losing track of where he is. Rapha's making some very interesting route choices and some weird pickups for these yellows, but now he's down by the red. This is a good point for DaHanG to go, all right, I know where you are, I know what the possibility space is, and I can potentially punish you at least a little bit here. But no, look, DaHanG's actually disappeared. He went in to go get that Mega. He's made good use of it. We've got Rapha out of rockets, but he's able to get that pickup at least. He can still rain down some damage from up top here. But he's not getting the hits, and actually he's, well, railable, but there's no railgun on the map, obviously. But this is a bad spot for Rapha to be left without a stack.
I'm impressed that DaHanG is continuing to challenge in the map, even though he has got a good position to do damage, but he didn't have the best stack just then. And taking his time to find his way out of the red armor area, he took way too much rocket damage.
But still, that's 2 frags up, and in Lost World, that is a mile for sure. We've got 2 minutes left on the clock here. Rapha over by the LG, spots DaHanG over by rocket launcher, and there's not a whole lot to commit to at this point. We've got red armor coming up, and Rapha might not get the grab here. He's going to hit a good spot to cross the map.
He'll guess it though, he'll guess the timing. What I'm worried though for Rapha is he doesn't know the Mega timing. I want to see if he's laying down that timing. DaHanG catching out with the LG and just about finds that final burst of lightning. 1 frag between them. DaHanG's going to get Mega. Now I want to see if Rapha spots it out or spams the machine gun. Did he see it?
The timing on this Mega and red is so to DaHanG's advantage right now. He can just cycle right through them very quickly and be ready to put pressure on Rapha, but those precious few seconds allow Rapha to kind of go into hiding. And as we all know in Lost World, he's very good at doing that. But we've got 1 frag and just over 1 minute to go. DaHanG needs to find context to pressure Rapha.
He's not that... He's quite weak on ammunition at the moment, so just those 2 rockets that whiffed, he's basically out now. He's going to have to use his ammo very wisely. Cycling red to Mega. This shouldn't be an issue for him, as Rapha hasn't seen the Mega for God knows how long. And, no pun.
But we're at that danger zone point where DaHanG can take these items essentially for free, but doing so completely removes his ability to know where Rapha is and where he's going. So at some point, getting those items isn't all that useful for him. He needs to force his fight right now.
Yeah, going for this next red is way too dangerous. The problem he has now is if he overcommits an angle, Rapha could maybe try and steal it. But even that's dangerous for Rapha. He just wants to keep the lead going.
He can RJ up here and get him caught in the corner, but he's out of rockets.
Oh,
All
God.
he has here is LG. He's got the great position, but he's got no weapons to make this fight happen. He's got the stack, but so much LG has already burned off DaHanG's armor, and my God, he misses the jump forward, the red armor. That is essentially going to be it. He doesn't have anything left to play here.
5 seconds, and he's like, okay, well, I got no health wasting those seconds, but he's going to go for it anyway. Is Rapha ready for this? He's got a chase, but he can't get the shotgun blast. And that is a 1-frag victory there for Rapha. Damn.
Oh, that's so rough. So that's going to be a little over $100 going to Rapha for our first map, and really Lost World. You know, I was expecting that to be not such a close match, actually. Lost World is really Rapha's world.
And DaHanG has just said that he picks Furious Heights, so this does look similar to the 125 FPS finals map picking system.
Yeah, and actually, we had a coin toss for the first pick, which went to Rapha, presumably, and it's the loser picking each subsequent map afterwards.
All right, but this is, you know, even the Europeans... sorry, I should stop making these comparisons. Extremely rude of me. But the Europeans have massive respect for DaHanG on this map. Like, everyone does. It doesn't matter who you are. DaHanG and T7, similar to Rapha and Lost World, DaHanG, T7, you will associate them very, very closely to one another. So, I mean, I'd favor DaHanG to win over Rapha, probably the way we expected Rapha to win over DaHanG, even though it ended up very close. So they'll get started as soon as they're ready, which appears to be now, in fact. So let's go into map number 2 and see if DaHanG can get himself a little bit of pocket money here this evening before QuakeCon.
Enough to pay for his plane ticket, I hope.
I'm on Rapha at the moment, and I'm going to switch over to DaHanG. I saw Rapha getting the rail, lower yellow, and the red. And DaHanG, well, it's very even start, as you more often get on this map. And DaHanG was just like, whatever, I'll get the railgun. There's no item that you can steal while I'm over here, and I'm just going to be able to keep position for the red. I almost would have liked to see Rapha come back into the red room and try and lock him out of the red room, of the red area himself.
Yeah, but a fairly standard start here, but as the next red comes up, DaHanG's going to be getting it without too much of a challenge here, which is going to make this fight over the Mega kind of interesting, as DaHanG has to wonder where Rapha's going to be coming from. But he's got him spotted. He's actually got him trapped down below at the teleporter. I don't know how that wasn't a telefrag.
Oh, those two rockets.
One rail catching DaHanG in the air, but Rapha's going to be very low. He's got him on his back leg, needs to put some pressure on to get this last frag, and the Mega's going to be up. The red is going to be up, and he is just on the chase. He knows that Rapha doesn't have anywhere to go, but he needs to restack and reassert some control here. Even if he gets this frag, he has the potential of losing major items, so eventually he's going to break it off and make sure he has map control.
I think DaHanG's pretty annoyed that he didn't get that frag, but it was definitely the right decision to let Rapha survive a little bit and go and get himself the Mega, which he still hasn't gotten, worryingly enough. And it's not like he was denying a timing for Rapha. He's not even going to be able to get back to Red Room right now, so all that damage he did might be for nothing, but Rapha is giving him respect, expecting him to be in the Red Room. This is a very weird way that DaHanG's playing this.
Yeah, and again, I'm wondering how much of it is a little bit of a smokescreen for QuakeCon.
I think he knows that Rapha is paying him respect, though, and I think he knew that Rapha wouldn't have taken the risk to sit on red, but it's still dangerous, that move.
Rapha's as slippery as they come, but we've got red coming up here for DaHanG. Mega by all rights should be in Rapha's hands. He's just now getting into the room, and he's going to be able to get that grab, which actually makes a fairly wide timing between them. I love that in this map, that eventually the timing between the two items is going to get so close that it's essentially up for a trade. But my God, that rail taking DaHanG out of the air, that's going to knock DaHanG down quite a bit as he comes through the teleporter. He's looking for a fight here in the top of the Mega Room, but it's not going to quite be there. He needs to take away this 50 and be ready for this red. And once again, Rapha is a ghost. He's not there. It's got to be so frustrating being able to get so many items for free, but then completely losing track of where your opponent is and how to set up any of these trap rockets or prediction rails.
And the fact that DaHanG was so close to getting a frag before, I sincerely hope he's not thinking, why didn't I get that frag? Why didn't it happen then? Because he might lose this frag right now, otherwise Rapha's got him pretty low. A rail would kill him. DaHanG trying to dodge is going to have to forfeit the item. What a rail shot from Rapha, taking the lead here on Furious Heights. And DaHanG's got to compose himself at the moment, because that was such a messy first 3 minutes for him. He needs to chill out, try and get himself in control, and get back into this map.
And chilling out on this map definitely takes a significant amount of effort. You really need to know how to route these yellows without getting caught into a trap up. But my God, that rocket to rail. That will certainly give Rapha something else to think about as DaHanG goes back down here for this red armor. But as we've already seen, getting these pulls for red armor doesn't necessarily mean that DaHanG's going to have the positional advantage in these fights. We have another Mega going over to Rapha, kind of coming up the stairs, and DaHanG wasn't quite ready for those rockets either. He's so committed to this fight. He's 20 and 20. He needs to get the hell out of here.
I think Rapha's just let go of his grip. He's like, you'll survive for now. But not for long. He spots him, he goes for the spam rail. What a shot.
Alright, but we got DaHanG moving back over through L. Ooh, and Rapha was ready for him. That's exactly what I'm worried about. How many of these fights have opened up where Rapha knows exactly where DaHanG's going to be. He knows where to make that first shot. He knows how to make it hurt. And then it's up to DaHanG to either chase or give it up. That's got to be so frustrating.
Rapha's playing it really intelligently though. His traps are excellent. DaHanG's assuming that, alright, Red's been up for ages, he's going to go to that item at some point, because otherwise the major items are about to clash. And Rapha waits for the last possible opportunity before they clash. You know, maybe you can call it either DaHanG's mistake for rushing that quickly, or just Rapha being extremely patient and wise. And his rockets are just dead on as well.
And Rapha's done a very good job of keeping the item timers between Mega and Red apart so that, you know, his laps don't really need a break. And my god, that LG completely decimating DaHanG. Now we're looking at 5-0 on DaHanG's pick and a map that you already said that, you know, DaHanG has a lot of respect on and a lot of infamy on, actually. But this is not looking quite so good here in our first half. Like you said, we're going to need to see DaHanG kind of recompose himself and figure out a different tack.
Rapha's taking 60 rail and 46 LG at the moment.
5-minute warning.
Which is pretty impressive.
It is.
Not something I'd traditionally associate with Rapha, but that's, yeah, really nice.
Gonna need to change your card stats.
Quite possible. More on that.
Alright, but Rapha, this is a good fight for him. He can leave this fight whenever he wants. He doesn't need to commit and drop down. But it looks like he's going to right on to DaHanG's waiting shaft, but nothing really connected all that significantly for him. He's able to take one rail off of him. Rapha's still at 88, however. He's going to be able to have plenty of time to take away this red and be able to move with quite a lot of force back into Mega. He's got so much time between these two items that he doesn't really need to worry too much about the timing difference. He's done a good job of making sure that that situation isn't going to be coming up anytime soon.
I think DaHanG's tilted. He's making some really unusual moves. Like, he had a good stack it when he got killed over here in the rail room before to make it to 6-0. But he chose a position to fight from, which is so disadvantageous. It just made no sense at all. Like, and he had plenty of time to make it come back as well. Fortunately, DaHanG is going beast mode with his rails at the moment. He might get a kill, but he misses an important rail. Hits the next to get off the negatives, but it's now essentially lotto to see what spawn you're gonna get. He's gonna go for it. He wants it right now. Plasma's got to go for. He's got the red, so he can go in for the kill. But Rapha's Plasma's hurting him a lot.
And those rockets were nowhere near Rapha. He was trying to predict some footsies there, but no such luck. DaHanG, now railable, is just trying to take some chunks off of Rapha, and he's gonna get one or two. But no. What? Okay, so there's one. But now he's got to spend so much time taking away 25s, taking away this 50 if it's available, and getting back on the items that Rapha can just pressure him on these items and then take that fight back. Yep, there it is.
That Plasma was so dangerous. And it was such like an awkward drop as well from DaHanG. Like, rather he maybe went straight over to the rocket first or something like that. And we're gonna see Rapha clean up one more, making it 9-1. This is almost impossible to come back from now.
Unfortunately. And I'm wondering more about the moral implications for DaHanG here. This is sort of a rough start, as we noted, but it never really turned into anything else.
I thought he was gonna hit that. It was like Rapha. I was about to say Rapha's rail is really on, but I was like, I don't want to jinx it just yet, and he missed the next rail anyway. But you know, he's still hitting 60% rail, so.
And Rapha is still choosing very good points to leave these fights and kind of uncommit himself, which has been one of the bigger problems we've been seeing out of DaHanG today.
Yeah, absolutely. And now DaHanG has to play aggressive, and he's got no choice. But it's a shame he put himself in this position where he's almost helpless. He's gonna get a mega, getting that frag on 2 HP. 7 frags in 2 minutes with practically no control. I'd like to see him try.
Well, hopefully he can use these next 2 minutes to kind of catch his breath and be ready for the next map. And we finally see the timing between Red and Mega come together.
He's got to get a frag before they go up.
That's one of my favorite things about Furious Heights is that game within the game of making sure that, you know, if you've got the item cycle, that you're not, you know, killing yourself later on by giving a free item to your opponent.
That wasn't good from DaHanG. I think he should have chased fully instead of dropping down at the teleporter before. He's given up the megas. This makes his kill way too difficult to get, but somehow lands that shot. Rapha has to congratulate him on that as well. That was an epic rail. But it took him near enough a minute to get that frag. So unfortunately, you don't get bonus points for getting flashy kills.
Don't say things like that. We don't need any more ideas going to Sponge.
How would you even calculate that? The subjectivity. Is there some kind of like AI scoring system? I don't know.
Well, alright, well, final 45 seconds here, and hopefully that frag, you know, put at least a little bit of a smirk on Tim's face here. He's going to need it going into map 3.
I mean, come on, DaHanG, you can get yourself some good money. This is you get yourself a nice weekend, or I mean, if Rapha gets all of the map wins, I mean, that's like, there we go, there's a month rent out of the way. 5 to 9, 15 seconds. Sayonara.
Yeah, a good, you know, almost comeback there. At least enough to make him feel not completely worthless here. But nice pair of rails there on the jump pad.
But you think about it, at the last minute, Rapha's like, well, I'm still X amount of frags ahead of him. I will step off the gas pedal.
And the size of Furious Heights means that you can't really convert one frag to another freebie all that easily.
Yeah, well, especially if you don't have, you know, he got a frag on 2 health remaining at the end. Then he got Mega, which makes him, well, still less than starting stack. And he's trying to chase for more, and it's just, you know, if you're 200, and you can give at least a good crack at getting some spawn frags, but definitely not in the position that he was in before. Let's go back.
Well, it looks like we're going over to Sinister for map number 3. This is $200 up for Rapha, and if he ends up taking number 3, he'll be getting a bonus $100 for having the most map wins.
That's right. That's right. That is definitely. So yeah, this is like a $200 map for Rapha, $100 for DaHanG.
But we're still playing all 5, yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
Awesome.
I think we better be. Otherwise, there's $200 is just. Where's that $200 gone that we still have to play for? All right. I'm gonna follow DaHanG off the beginning. Thanks, Celisx, for your lovely comments. And they spawn very close to each other. DaHanG is gifted the Mega first, which will allow him to get an easy red. And now he's basically got to find a way, how do I dismount from this area without taking a rail shot? I don't know if it's going to let him go. So patience was the key to that.
Just wait until he leaves is the correct strategy.
Yes, very advanced strategy, and DaHanG finds him down the bottom. I would call that a trap, but I mean, I guess it's a trap. I guess that's a correct term.
Rapha really trapped himself there. There are so many things to farm on this map after the initial pull of items, and going for a late rail like Rapha didn't really do him any favors, and now DaHanG can take away pretty much everything here. However, we've seen DaHanG in this situation before where by the numbers he has all the advantage, but catching and trapping Rapha becomes the big deal, and Rapha walks right into his waiting arms and gives him a nice 2-up.
Does Chance want DaHanG to win?
I'm sure he's got money on it.
I don't know if we're going to be getting real money bets available for QuakeCon, but
oh, I would love that.
Be interesting.
Love that so much. If FGC can do it, we can too.
Omega's up at the moment. DaHanG is going to eventually break away. He doesn't want to chase directly because Rapha then could just do a loop-to-loop on him.
And that was a really good position for DaHanG to hold. He got the one rail off of him, and he was able to kind of draw that line in the sand and keep Rapha from moving forward. And beautiful rail through the window as well, keeping Rapha potentially off of the Mega Room. Not that there's much there to get at the moment, but now DaHanG can kind of flush out this side of the map and give Rapha considerably fewer options coming into here. Nice. That was hurting tactics if I ever seen them.
DaHanG is really laying down the pain a lot, to the point where Rapha's struggling to, pick up items at a rate fast enough that allows him to not be just rocketable or railable or whatever. And Rapha, he was allowed to look at red then, but not a whole lot more, and that's 4 to -1. Rapha getting a taste of his own medicine at the moment.
And DaHanG, you can see how kind of methodical he is as he moves through the map here. There's not a whole lot for him to pull right now, but again, kind of cutting out through this center area of the map makes sure that as he comes back into the red, he's at least kept a few of these entrances safe, and he knows where Rapha can't come from. Oh, nice. Once again, catching him on that step there, and actually it looks like Rapha was literally stuck there for a second, but that's going to be a Mega going to Rapha. But he doesn't have any yellow to pick up at this point. DaHanG's done a very good job of kind of farming those worry. Yeah. Finally, a YA for Rapha.
That's good news for him. The thing is, like, the question is, it's not so much can Rapha make the comeback, as it is DaHanG gonna cock things up enough to allow Rapha to make the comeback? Because I feel like he was looking so strong at the beginning of Lost World. He's gonna get himself another frag here, so it's looking good at the moment. I mean, I can eat my words for the time being. Even on Furious Heights, he had moments where he was playing well towards the end, and he was able to get himself into control a lot and to build up his stack. It's just he's really got to focus on optimal decision making, you know, not being over aggressive when it's not necessary to do so. And he's picking up frag after frag, and I don't know if Rapha can keep up with this anymore.
If this match on Sinister keeps going the way it's going, this will actually make me pretty happy, because I know this isn't QuakeCon yet, I know this isn't on LAN yet, I know it isn't the finals yet, but the general thing that you'll see out of DaHanG is that you'll have a very strong opening couple maps, and then he'll kind of falter and never really regain his composure. So if he's able to prove to Rapha and to everybody here that he's able to take a few losses and then come back strongly from it, that's a very good sign moving into the next week.
That's a really good point, actually, as often overlooked. Memories of, was it QuakeCon 2014 finals where Cypher just 3-0'd him extremely quick, or maybe that was 2013?
Yeah, he had the first two maps, and then Cypher kind of woke up, or
that was 2000 and... That was
right,
2012.
It happened twice.
Yeah. And then I think it was, and then the next final was Evil Rapha, I think, where Rapha lost. And then 2014 it was Cypher DaHanG, where it was just a 3-0 destruction. There's bits of DaHanG everywhere, and you'd never even believe for a second he could make the comeback.
That's right. I think I was trying to block that up.
It's a nasty nasty thing to have to remember, I think.
Yeah, especially with all the build-up as finals generally have. But DaHanG, you know, he's playing out this red armor at least a little bit sneaky, but Rapha's ready for him there. Flying out of that teleporter, LG at the ready, but getting bounced off by DaHanG's rockets, giving that red armor over to DaHanG. And DaHanG wants this frag. He does not want to let Rapha go away. He doesn't want to, you know, break off his pacing and go for that mega right away. He wanted the frag, and he got it. 7 on -1. He's down on 50 health, but wanting that frag so much means that I don't think he needed to give up that mega health, but walking in there would have been dangerous for sure.
I mean, I think it's fine. He managed to even get a tiny bit of damage off as well, so now having position for the red armor, he definitely doesn't look bad. I think at a rail angle he wasn't necessarily expecting to be giving up, but he's hitting hard, and he's got plenty of escape routes, and he's doing even more damage now. I mean, it just gets from bad to worse for Rapha. This should be another frag, should DaHanG want it.
Well, he's moving into the Mega, and he's taking a couple rails for his trouble, though, and a big fight over the YA, but a short one indeed, making it 8 on -1. Certainly a hefty stack here, but now, compared to the front half of the game, we're seeing a lot more item trades, and Rapha's going to be potentially much more dangerous if he can get some weapons, at least. He doesn't have a whole lot of options right now, and DaHanG can clamp him off. There we go.
My quadriplegic dead dog could have hit that rail, and Rapha misses it. That's a rail that you should be hitting with your eyes closed.
And you would think that your duck would start stinking after a while. I would throw that away, man.
Oh, he's got mad skills. I thought that was going to possibly be the beginning of something. I was actually very surprised that Rapha even had a chance of getting a frag, because even though he had a red armor, he just had a railgun, and he was still managing to land some good damage on DaHanG. But I think now with 10 frags separating them, I think it's GG here, and I think Rapha's going to want to practice this map before the duel day starts at QuakeCon.
Yeah, some of his entrances into the red armor here were a little bit suspect, and DaHanG seems a little bit more ready for these traps than Rapha was, at least in this match. But as he comes into the red armor room once again, he's just going to be kind of flying by. And again, just kind of smoking out the corridors here and making sure that he's going to be either catching Rapha unawares or making sure that as we come into one of these atriums that he's ready for the fight. Rapha getting kind of pinned up against the wall there against the trim for a minute. Ooh. But that last rail saves him. He's railable himself, not anymore with that red armor. Plenty of time before Mega comes up, but this is sort of the fight that Rapha wanted a minute ago. This is what would have given him the time to kind of turn the tide of the battle. But now the clock is just not on his side.
I think it's a big ask. I think, as you say, a minute ago, maybe even 2 minutes ago. You know, getting to that halfway point, it's alright because you say, oh, well, he managed to do it in the first half, means it must be possible in the second. I think Rapha, if he has any hope, he should have picked up that frag just there. Oh god, a rocket on the teleporter exit. DaHanG whiffs the rail, and he whiffs the next one, even though he's going for some tremendously hard shots. But Rapha is... I mean, he's Walking Dead.
A+ job of avoiding those grenades. He was actually hiding behind that corner with like 30 health too. And yeah, DaHanG is actually getting some free picks off of the spawn here. Make that 2 for 2.
This is a dominant performance here on Sinister. I don't know if that's as much reflection on Rapha's knowledge of the map, or if it is actually DaHanG just coming back really hard after those first 2 map losses. So I'm a bit in the dark about the sort of the American practice regime for QuakeCon, be it Duel, be it TDM, CTF.
Well, at least what we've seen in this match is Rapha seems very well prepared on the item fights. You know, he has pretty good timing on when to come in and what to come out with, but in between those items, DaHanG has had such a stronger presence in the connecting corridors. Mm-hmm. So many traps in there.
Yeah, Rapha's LG's been pretty solid though. But, yeah. When you're picking fights at the wrong time.
1 minute warning.
Actually, I would like to look at... I'm going to look at DaHanG just for a second to see how he's doing. He's hitting a lot of rail, and rail is extremely effective on this map. I'm going to switch back to Rapha though. And see if he can do anything in the last map. Well, I like to see that we're getting the full 10 minutes. We've got no sort of forfeits here. Even though the last map, I'd say, was fairly solid victory for Rapha, and this one even more solid for DaHanG. I'm glad we're getting some good cam time of these players before next week.
Absolutely, and this is going to put at least a little bit of cash in DaHanG's pocket, making it 2 for 1, and really, that first match on Lost World was so incredibly close. I would still say that Rapha was playing that a little unusually for his own style, but it's going to make the rest of the series very interesting indeed.
Yeah. I'm curious what we're going to see Rapha pick next, because that must mean by process of elimination we have Blood Run and Elder remaining.
You mean Blue Run?
Blue Run. That's the name of it now. GG DaHanG, 12 to 1. Solid victory here on Sinister. And Rapha, I think you're going to need to go back and hit the books and revise for Sinister at QuakeCon, because, you know, Evil and Cypher there, they are really good on Sinister. I love how DaHanG's playing it. It's obviously impossible to make a comparison at the moment, but I feel way more comfortable about DaHanG's performance than Rapha's.
And I'm fairly certain that, you know, Evil and Cypher have just had more game time under their belts just in terms of practice. Just as far as seeing them online and whatnot, there's, you know, so many more venues for competition there.
Yeah, but I feel like, you know, it's largely small events. I feel like the practice is maybe a little bit... they don't have everything into it when they're practicing and they're playing these sort of the smaller European online tournaments. But I feel like for QuakeCon, the level when the Americans start practicing, I mean, they really mean it. They go win expecting victory at QuakeCon. And I don't think the Europeans practice with the same goal in mind throughout the rest of the year.
Well, hopefully that practice, you know, turns into something more than just expecting victory.
Yeah.
At some point. But here we are on Elder, and I'm so happy to see this not only in Quake Live, but in the QuakeCon map pool. It is so flavorful at this point in Quake Live's life, and I really love what it's doing to the game.
This is a map that heavily punishes movement errors. And I love the fact that movement is such an integral part of Quake, doesn't matter what version it's in. And now this is, out of any map, in any pool, on any game mode, this is one where you make one slip up and it could cost you a frag, it could cost you a game.
And the number of trap opportunities It almost, right? Whoa, did he fall in the lava?
He
Oh,
fell in the...
come on.
I did not even notice that. I thought he was just going back up the 5 HP dolls to the teleporter exit, but that's a horrible slip-up. Runes unlocked.
Alright, but right now we've got Rapha in the lead. Thank you, Lava. And this is a map that I could see Rapha kind of picking up. You know, it's got lava, it's got a lot of trap opportunities. The rail's kind of denied for the first couple minutes, so, you know, it has some similarities to Lost World, at least in those respects. Rapha right now picking away quite a bit of armor and mega health as well. He's going to be coming down through the front of the map here as DaHanG takes away that red armor and actually has a really good vantage point to rain down the rockets on Rapha.
Oh,
But coming into the yellow armor room, the rail yellow armor, Rapha's ready for him, and those rockets are going to be giving DaHanG reason to leave that alone for the time being. Still a lot of time before Mega comes up, so this is all just positional play for Rapha and DaHanG right now.
I wanted to say that red dismount I was kind of skeptical about for DaHanG because Rapha was running out of the LG, but it was a perfect rocket to push Rapha back and ensure that DaHanG has a, you know, a safe exit. And he was able to land a little bit of damage after that. DaHanG definitely giving himself a good opportunity to get back in the game.
Rapha's still got the top of the map here. Can hear DaHanG down below, and he's actually got the drop on DaHanG. DaHanG's either going to get trapped here on the stairs or the jump pad, but Rapha loses sight of him for the moment as red armor comes up. Does this mean that this is going to be a free red armor for Rapha? Maybe not so much. DaHanG is down in the obelisk room, ready with those rails, and has taken at least one out of Rapha, but he can't really afford staying there long enough to really make something out of it. That might give him timing on the Mega. That's going to leave them fairly even in terms of stack.
Rapha's got to take a, you know, paid vacation to go and get himself the railgun, how out the way it is on this map, and nice little rail shot.
Rail out of DaHanG.
DaHang's
But I
got
have
it
to say
already.
that DaHanG didn't stay around for that Mega, so it's a questionable trade.
I think he'll guesstimate it, but you're absolutely right. He could have had it. DaHanG does take the red armor, but he does take quite a bit of damage for doing that. Top yellow will definitely, well, it'll definitely be his now.
I wouldn't generally say that DaHanG could take Rapha in terms of sneaky takeaway shots, but the last map kind of, you know, made me wonder otherwise. We're going to have to see how they play out here on Elder. DaHanG doesn't really want to commit to this jump pad. You can kind of make the jump up to the obelisk room, but you can't really pull Mega from there. He's just listening and waiting up for this YA, and then leaving it. This is actually kind of an interesting play. He's kind of ignoring the Mega room almost completely at this point.
I think with that extra mobility that Rapha has on the top area, I think he's just not, even if he can get there first, I just don't think he's willing to risk it, you know, based on the map being, you know, thick walls, can't hear your opponent, always on the other side of the map. You don't know how fast he's going to get there necessarily.
But Rapha explodes back into the YA room, which is a nasty place for DaHanG to potentially get trapped, but he broke out of there very quickly, which is good to see after how things played out on Furious Heights. Now DaHanG is just looking for a few pot shots with the rail.
Rapha's movement is excellent on here, by the way. I'm really loving the way Rapha's moving. Aside from that little lava slip-up, which I think was largely rocket-related, so DaHanG does have an excuse there, these guys have had brilliant movement. And
This is not
the
something
obelisk...
I ever want to have a fight. This is nasty, yeah. DaHanG out a few really good defensive rockets there, though. You can move through Mega, but there's nothing there to pick up at this point. This is still very much trap time for DaHanG. There's not a whole lot of items to get to. He's in a good position for this Mega. He's going to be really loud here. I mean, Rapha's going to know exactly where he is. But we're almost halfway through, and we still haven't seen a frag other than DaHanG slip up into the lava pit.
Oh, there's a lot of LG damage as well from Rapha. I'm going to switch over to DaHanG right now and see what he's made of. That red is up. Is he going to show his face? He didn't hear it get picked up, so now he's going to have a guess at when it'll be up next.
Oh.
Red and
now we
Mega
have-
up at the same time.
Yeah, we have split timing there, and that's... I'm not really sure how much that's going to affect DaHanG since he hasn't really been cycling the items much himself anyway.
If he can keep Rapha here for a while, then he might have a pick of one of the major items. And he's gonna be able to get himself the red, so very nice job. Oh, and a rocket lands.
Especially with that. Oh, nice.
That's alright. I think DaHanG is kind of very slowly clawing his way in. He's playing very safe. He understands it's a slow, strategic map. And he's making the right moves to get there.
He's been consistently taking rails off of
This is
Rapha,
it.
which is a great opener for this fight. This is just going to be a mano-a-mano flatland fight, which he's eventually going to back out of, and amazingly enough, he's able to, with just a handful of health, and get back into the rail room.
Rapha's nearby. DaHanG knows exactly where he is. Wants to go for a rail shot. 2 major items are up at the moment. Does DaHanG want to risk it? Going for the rocket jumps too much. I think he should try and jump over at the very most. And getting a yellow first good. Because otherwise if he rocket jumps, he would be railable at that point. This is still good for DaHanG.
What I like about that corner is that you can go take away that yellow and still be able to catch your opponent going for the red if they go for it. Yeah, let's not talk about that. Well, that's a cool corner because DaHanG was able to take away that yellow essentially for free and maybe give up that red, but he still had an opportunity to rail Rapha if he went for it. But Rapha disappeared. Rapha wants this to be a 0-1 game, apparently.
Would that be? I think that would be our first. I think I've seen. Actually, no. I think I've seen a Sparta game.
Sure.
Yeah. I was gonna say Lost World is the only other place that has ever had anything like this before. We've had a couple of 1-0 wins here. I think. Actually, no. Lately, we've had a couple of 1-0 Lost World victories. It's just very stereotypical, but Rapha might have just fallen into a trap. I think DaHanG pushed him around a little more than he wanted to, but Rapha's still in a harsh place. LG coming out again. He's off the negatives, and we've got a tied game. Get the key, get the key, get the key! Rapha's got it, but he's gonna sink like the Titanic. Very nice, DaHanG.
That was a beautiful position for DaHanG to be on there. That 50 is such obvious bait, and Rapha couldn't pass it up, but moving through that teleporter left him with a really shitty position to be in.
DaHanG, yeah, Rapha's in a horrible place at the moment. This might be 2-0 any second. DaHanG, I think you should focus on getting yourself the major items maybe, or at least lock out the red. And now, because Rapha's got limited mobility, Mega should be out of the question for him, but DaHanG is taking a very long road to get around. Rapha gets a glance at it. He gets to look at the Mega, but he should die right now. Closer than I would feel comfortable with.
DaHanG would catch Rapha making the jump for the Mega. I mean, like you said, he was taking a sweet time getting over there.
Maybe that was it.
Plenty of time to trap it. Yeah.
Maybe that's what he was actually going for, and that's why he took that route. So I think that was very clever from DaHanG, but that LG very nearly messed up from DaHanG. He's got 34%, but I'm feeling very underwhelmed by his lightning gun at the moment. His rocket's phenomenal. His bounce pad usage is questionable.
Is that a stat on your trump cards?
No, unfortunately not. I might incorporate that at a later date. Elder will be the reason for it.
1 minute 30 seconds left here, and DaHanG has very solidly moved from 0 to -1 to 3 on up.
Yeah, this is nice. This could tie up the series actually if he wins this map and make things really interesting.
And almost none of these have been head-on clashes either. There's been a lot of traps, a lot of ambushes involved here. That's what I like about
play a lot by this obelisk at the moment. Rapha's going to get a frag. This game is not over yet. He's got the key. He can rocket jump to red or bear. DaHanG.
Rapha's got the key on the pickup here, so this gives DaHanG almost no options. And he tries to go for a little bit of a pummel, but he's not going to give it. Making this a very tight game in the last minute here. We've got Rapha taking away armor. Mega's going to be going over to DaHanG, and DaHanG's actually got enough time to escape with it.
Oh,
Rapha didn't quite realize. Yeah, he had an opportunity to actually to rail through the obelisk, but he didn't know that DaHanG was down there.
DaHanG has been so quick trying to get to these items as well. He's playing with fire at the moment, but Rapha's been starved of items. He might have to wait till the next red rotation to feel comfortable enough to push in on him. That's what he's going for. Rocket jump over, very nice move, but DaHanG's rocket was perfect, and he gets another. That might be it.
Years back, DaHanG was known to be that guy on Blood Run at least, who could just kite you for minutes on end, and Rapha doesn't even want to play that game, so that's going to be it. 2 for both of these guys now. We're going to be going into our 5th and final map. It's going to be the Intel-sponsored Blood Run, which I hereby dub Blue Run.
It is beautiful. You know what? For Blood Run, it's the most horrible map to stream ever. Stream, guys, not play. It's actually really nice, a relief for broadcasters to have it. But that game, man, was awesome. DaHanG being, for 6 minutes nearly on -1 to 0, finally making a really powerful comeback and getting a couple of frags advantage. He very nearly threw it away, but he made some very quick moves, fast calculations, got onto a couple of big items, and I think it forced Rapha to take too big of a risk. He had to take the risk, but it was so big that DaHanG was able to defend himself.
All right, here we go.
Let's do it. Let's get on to the final map, guys. This is famed Blue Run. It is Blood Run, guys. It is sponsored by Intel, and we will be seeing it at QuakeCon. I am on Rapha at the moment. Tiebreaker map, guys. Who is going to take it?
Fairly standard opening here so far. Rapha's going to be picking away that rail, all important as he comes back into the rocket launcher room. That's something that DaHanG will know that Rapha's going to be there and a little bit vulnerable on, but without that rail, he can't really punish. So Rapha moving back into the mid-map, just farming for items right now. DaHanG hopefully getting ready for the next red here. He's been able to put himself in a better position than Rapha, at least a few seconds ago he was, to make this next red happen, but I don't know. This is going to be a weird fight. He doesn't have a whole lot to work with, and getting stuck up against this wall means that, yeah, he's gonna have to leave that fight and go for the mega health pick instead. And that's something that Rapha actually anticipated, and he gave up his own red in favor of that, but DaHanG managed to pull that away, and he might be able to get away, if not with both items, then plenty of damage on it.
Oh, I was gonna say, I was hoping DaHanG would go for the punish there on the teleporter exit. He goes for it, unfortunately misses the shot, but he's got the right thoughts going into this game. Just got to emphasize, guys, this is a $200 map. Every other map was just over $100 to reach the winner, and there's an extra $100 for winning the series, which is what the winner of this map will have done.
All right, but Rapha moving back up for the red armor. That first fight, that first minute was incredibly awkward. They both had picks, and they both had a lot of damage. Neither of them really getting the upper hand, which is kind of weird to see on Blood Run, or Blue Run. Such a strong clutch with a lot of damage going both ways, but the frag tipping to neither player. Now Rapha's kind of hanging out back here by the 50 health, looking for DaHanG to come through the teleporter. But he's burning off time on both of these items, and he's got pole position on the red armor, but I'm wondering if DaHanG is going to be ready for him to come over that top corridor. He's just not going for it at all, and Rapha doesn't break down towards the LG for the Mega either. This is a weird routing, but a fairly safe one for Rapha. I'm just wondering what he gets out of it.
It's very tentative at the moment. I feel like Rapha is very happy to not have to fight for a while, just so he can kind of thing. That's Bronson saying, giving respect. Thanks, Bronson. He's definitely just chilling right now. There's no rush. He gets a nice little direct rocket, and that might make him feel better. If he didn't hit that rocket, I guarantee he would have been out that teleporter. But now he's forcing DaHanG through, but he gets the kill. DaHanG's not even able to escape. DaHanG should have
no escape. But how much damage did DaHanG get in that fight? Like,
not enough. Yeah, it was actually kind of poor after. He went into the fight thinking, I'm not going to leave that fight until someone's dead. Whereas he could very easily have recalculated after that first rocket that you should back the hell off.
Other than spawn frags, we've seen very few clashes between these two players today that have left one of them over 100-100, and Rapha had such a solid fight in that one, and now you can see the pace of the game has changed incredibly, at least from Rapha's end. He's now just kind of catapulting through the map, and now he's exerting a ton of pressure on DaHanG.
Yeah, that was a big kill to get, and as you say, having a lot of health and armor after picking up the frag, I mean, that's resulting in maybe a second spawn frag, essentially. I don't know when like the conversion cutoff point is, but I think it would have been just as he got that kill had it happened. DaHanG, I think, wants LG.
Rapha pausing, stopping completely for that rail shot. Did not want to miss it. He really had time. And there it is. Man, you know this map is cool because there's copper heat sinks at the top of it.
Thanks for that. I was unsure if should I make you feel proud of that? Should I make you feel ashamed? And then you kind of
do it, you were going to.
You made yourself feel ashamed, so you know I didn't have to do it.
Not capable of shame, you know that.
This is a smashing hit from Rapha. 6-0 on the tiebreaker map. DaHanG has made a admirable comeback in the series, but it looks like he might be choking as it gets to the end. He does deny the red, which could help him, but Rapha's still got this mega to get. He's got the lower yellow up in a moment. Someone said 50 LG. 50 LG from Rapha. 50. It doesn't even like feel 50 LG though. Is it? I mean, he's just hitting hard, and you don't even realize it. Is it his positioning?
With his LG, that's all.
Yeah.
He's shooting 888 right now. But at this point, this is all about breaking Rapha's cycle, and these grenades, you know, they might pull something lucky there. There's a good rail, and my God, he needed one more, but Rapha was ready for it, snapped right to his forehead, and took him down as we hit the halfway point. We're looking at 8-0, And I believe that if DaHanG manages to take away some momentum, he can make that back, but he's going to need to spend at least half of this time breaking the momentum that Rapha has right now.
DaHanG's calling a GG there. 5 minutes left, and he's had enough. I think he's just been locked out the map so hard. He's going to give that one up to Rapha. Wow, 3-2.
Yeah.
Really nice, Rapha. I hope, guys, do not go just yet, because I want to talk about stuff with Jahar, and I really hope we can get someone to interview. Do you think that would be possible, Jahar?
That's not up to me, unfortunately. These guys, I spoke to them a little bit earlier, and they kind of want to keep their cards closer to their chest. Actually, Rapha said that he would rather make a statement as a team with the rest of his team, so he's showing some solidarity, which I like. Oh, so if Rapha wants to bring the whole team on, we can get the casting couch going.
I was just trying to... That's a shame. I'd really like to hear enough.
And while this was a 3-2, I want to say that the 2 that DaHanG took, he took in a really kind of admirable way. He kind of broke out of his own mold a little bit for those matches, and it felt like I was watching a different player for a few of those matches.
He said, sorry, I'm still